for a real treat today because we've got one of my most favourite human beings in the entire universe. Matthew Preston has come into my market kitchen. Thanks, Matthew, for coming in. Can I call you Matthew?
You can call me. You sound like my mother. That's the only person who calls me Matthew. Yes, and we're going to cook something that I think is close to your heart, my heart. White chocolate. Yes. White chocolate mousse.
Yes.
Really simple. 2 ingredients. Tastes delicious.
Yeah.
Any old bog standard white chocolate.
Yeah.
There was 350 grams in there. There's probably about
300.
Yeah, 300 now. We're going to put some hot cream on there to melt it. 600 mils of cream. We're just going to bring just to the boil. There's quite a high heat on there, so we'll just keep stirring it or jiggling it. And so we're going to make a basic white chocolate mousse that we can then customise and use lots of different flavours with. I'm going to use the flavours of Waldorf salad because you know herbs and vegetables in desserts very, very trendy.
Yeah.
So I obviously like to be a bit trendy.
Oh, it's always good to be trendy, isn't it? We're trendy. We're trendy here. Trendy.
Hipster apron, hipster hairstyle. that cream's got to just come into the boil.
Simmer point.
So all we're going to do is we're going to pour that and just stir that, and all we're going to do is to melt, use the heat of the cream to melt the chocolate. Now, if you were going to make a ganache, like a dark chocolate ganache, you wouldn't stir it so much because it would impair the glossiness. But I'm impatient, you're impatient. All we're going to do now...
Put in a takeaway?
It's put in a takeaway, so I want to put this in the fridge, and that's too big to put in the fridge.
It is. We've got a small fridge.
Because the whole idea of putting it in a big bowl is so that when you stir it, or more importantly, when Emma Dean stirs it, it doesn't go anywhere. This is one of these amazing recipes that's great. It's great for kids, but it's also as a treat, but it's also amazing to pimp up for a dinner party.
Yeah.
Leave this white chocolate and cream mixture just to cool down a bit, then lid on and in the fridge overnight. Okay, so we've left that combination of cream and white chocolate in the fridge. When we get that out, we'll just whisk it up. So big bowl, again, to minimise splashing. And here we go. Here's that kind of white chocolate ganache.
Yum.
It's just white chocolate and cream. And all we're going to do is whisk that up so it becomes beautiful and fluffy. And then we'll pop it in a piping bag and then chill it down again so we can use it. You could, honestly, once you whisk it, you could use it straight away, but it'll hold up more if it's cold.
Ah, excellent.
There you go. So we're looking for soft peaks. We're looking to that point when you lift up your whisk, the little spike of white chocolate just bends over at the top.
Rightio. I like cream.
But just with all that white chocolate goodness. That's such a simple thing. You can use that dolloped on a cake. This is a white chocolate cream. Use a mousse on like a mandarin cake, syrup mandarin cake, delicious. I'm so impressed you're not licking the beaters. You know, piping eggs are such a...
Do you like to do the little mouth?
I like the little mouth. That's piping eggs are super cheap, and you know they can make things look fancy. You could just use a Ziploc bag, clean Ziploc bag, cut the corners off if you want to. But this way we've got a little nozzle in there, so it's going to look starry and pretty. And where you go?
Fill it up. Less chit chat, more.
More do.
Oh,
look at that. You see, look. Now here's another little Emma Dean tip. Scrape the spatula with the side of the piping bag. Brilliant. Genius.
Oh, I'm a genius.
It's come so far.
I learned everything from you. There we go.
So here we got a mousse. Now, this is sat in the fridge for 2 hours. You can feel how cold it is.
Yes, it's cold.
In terms of flavours, what we're going to do is play with flavours. I love this idea of adding something sour, because the white chocolate is quite sweet, and something quite savoury. So I got some apple and some finely diced celery.
Very finely diced.
Beautifully cut celery, and some grapes. So really the combination of a Waldorf salad. And so you're almost playing with this idea of Waldorf salad. I also want to add some thyme. Because thyme and herbs go so well together. If you smell that combination, straight away you can think of how that's going to work with all those elements. And then something else to give you a bit of edge. Some matcha, which is that you could use matcha, which is like a green tea powder.
That's very fashionable now, isn't it?
And it goes really well with white chocolate. It's kind of slightly bitter. Yep. And some celery seed. So celery seed is going to accentuate the flavour of the diced celery we've got here. But you could also, the other thing you could do is you could take your celery, your green leaves of the celery, and dry them in the oven. And then use a mortar and pestle to pound up the dried green leaves to make a celery powder to use instead of matcha. But this mousse will also go wonderfully with blueberries, with the flavour of Anzac biscuits, with coriander seed. There are lots of wonderful lemon, lots of wonderful ways to use it. But let's do two plating. Why don't you plate in a glass and I'll plate on a plate. We'll have a kind of mini MasterChef comp. You start.
No pressure.
No.
Rightio. Oh, look at that.
Stunning. Nice.
Oh, this is a really nice piping nozzle. It's nice and big. There,
Yeah.
you can have that. You can have a go. Shall I cut some grapes?
I like the grapes cut either in half or in quarters. And you know the rule. The secret of it.
Ah, they look good. I like a quartered grape.
You know what I like about that?
It's nice.
It's all about giving us maximum amount of surface area. So when you're eating that richness, the white chocolate mousse, you get that freshness. You need the tweezers,
I need some
George.
tweezers. There we go. I think also when you're plating up, sometimes organically is okay. Just all in.
The main thing is to always think about threes. Odd numbers always look prettier. Okay,
Don't just do two.
I'm going to use a little bit of the diced celery.
Come on, Em. Chop, chop.
Well, you know, it's not a competition.
It is.
The battens of apple, these have been tossed in lemon juice, so it's going to give you a bit of acidity along with the...
I'm going to try this out.
Now with thyme,
A bit of thyme.
the secret with thyme is...
A bit more of that.
A sprig of thyme. Remember that when you're picking off the leaves go backwards, so you pull backwards, they'll come away clean from the stalk.
Nice. I love thyme. It's one of my most favourite things to use in savoury and sweet.
Well, you know, rosemary flowers would be really nice, and it's not too many because they're quite strongly flavoured.
Really coming into their own. Like when I grew up, we had all just dried herbs.
You know, that's the most important thing you can do in your garden, and you've got a beautiful garden, is plant a herb bed.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of pots to be able to have fresh coriander, fresh lime, fresh parsley, fresh sage. It just elevates all your food.
And if you are doing fresh herbs in the garden, make sure your pots are big enough, because people try and grow little pots of herbs and they die because they don't water them
That's
for the
right,
day.
yeah.
They go, oh, I can't grow herbs. Like, put them in a massive pot, and you can.
Now just a little bit.
Am I up to? Yep.
I think I made a match.
I'm still there.
Now, if we've been very la-di-da, we get a tiny weeny sieve and put it in and dust it over the top. Is that celery seed?
That's optional.
Optional, really. You know, if you've got it, why not use it?
Right.
But again, not too much. It's just to give other little pops of flavour.
Just a little bit.
That there.
Oh, there we go.
And there, and there, and there. Done.
These look incredible. I love your style of cooking. It's real and it's beautiful, but it's a bit complicated.
But it's not really
Just like us.
But the whole thing is that there's nothing. It's a keep the core really simple.
Yeah.
And then build with whatever you've got in the pantry, whatever you've got in the fruit bowl.
You're amazing. What a man.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
She's the winner of that.
I just give him a big cuddle.